Good afternoon to all. I'm glad you could all join us today for this important session on IT security awareness. And I hope all of you can hear me very clearly. As we know, in today's digital age, staying safe online is more important than ever, both for our personal lives and professional lives. So, this information security awareness session based on this matter, it's a very critical topic. So, to guide us through this critical topic, I'm excited to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Buddhika the Alwis. He's the managing director of TrustVault company. It's one of the best cybersecurity consultant company in Sri Lanka, and he's over 20 years plus experience in information security and cybersecurity area. And he worked with top organizations to secure digital infrastructures and have been a key voice in the cybersecurity community. Uh, Mr. Buddhika will share insight on common cybersecurity threats and the best practices to protect ourselves on our organization and our personal selves. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Buddhika. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, hi.
Okay.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Yes, yes. All right. Okay, okay. So, Raghu, let me share my screen. Just check whether you can see the screen.
Yeah, clearly I can see.
All right. Okay, okay. So, we can start. Good afternoon, everyone. As Raghu said, we are having this information security awareness session to educate you all on information security, what is important when you are using IT systems, applications, what you should be aware of. And as you may all know that Kalni Valley Plantations is going for the ISO 27001 certification, which is on information security. So having this awareness session will make sure that we all are aware of what needs to be done and how to safeguard our information. And when the and basically to also to face the audit that will happen as part of the ISO 27001 certification. So everyone, without any further delay, let's look at what is information and what is information security. So you may know now information is anything valuable to the organization. We are working with several types of information. I think more than the fixed assets that we already have in the organization, information becomes very much vital now. We are in the information age, and we are using a lot of information to do certain business decisions, so that information becomes very valuable, and matter of fact, it needs to be protected. It needs to be properly secured. So when you are saying information security, we are trying to preserve three things in information. What is that is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So when we say confidentiality, confidentiality means the information should be available to the right person. So we in very simple terms, we say the information should be shared only with people who has a need to know requirement. They need that information as part of their job responsibility. Then integrity. Now, integrity is if you are relying on any information that is incorrect, not accurate or updated, we are not going to make correct decisions. You know, the information will be used to make decisions. And if the information that we are going to use is not correct, or someone has manipulated it, or it is not updated, that means we are going to make wrong decisions. So integrity means the information is protected from any malicious changes, unauthorized changes, or the informations are not up to date. Okay. So we always make sure that the information will be changed by the people who's authorized to do so, and the information is always kept up to date. Then availability. Availability means now if the information is not available to the right person at the right time, there's no use of that information as well. Okay? Information has to be made available to the right person at the right time. That is availability. Right. So when you sit on your machine in front of your machine and you don't have access to the information at the time you want it. And if you don't have that, there's no use of that information. So that is available. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, we use several different types of controls to make sure that the information is protected, confidentiality remains preserved, integrity remains preserved, and availability remains preserved in information. Now, when we look at confidentiality, access control, password controls, all those are related to safeguarding confidentiality of information. Then we have integrity, having dual controls, having the make a checker approvals, or the same person will not have approval rights, and all those things are related to maintaining integrity of information. Then having backups, having replication systems, disaster recovery planning, all those things are related to having proper information available at the right time. Okay, so remember, confidentiality, integrity, and availability has to be preserved so that we can say that we have achieved information security at our organization. Now, you must be wondering, okay, why I should learn about security? We say in information security or good security standards always follow 90-10 rule. 10% of the security safeguards are technical. 90% of the security safeguards rely on the computer user or you. Adhering to the best practices, adhering to best information security practices. So let's take this example. Remember, now you have something to safeguard, some documents to safeguard. You buy a state-of-the-art safe to protect them, to keep them under lock and key, protect them, so that will be safeguard. But if you forget to lock the door of the safe, there's no point having the safe at all, right? There's no point having a good safe if you forget to lock the door. Or maybe if you keep the key in the key lock, there's no point having the safe at all. So the lock on the door or the safe is the 10%. Remembering to lock, checking to see if it is closed, ensuring others do not prop the door open, keeping the control of keys. All these are 90% that we must look at. So 10% security is worthless without you. So how to address security? We have to build a very comprehensive security capability at our organization, which we have already started to do so. So it will be always supported by strong foundations with leadership and governance. We have to look at our legal and compliance requirements, and we need to plan what we are going to implement based on the information security risks that we have and the business continuity and crisis management requirements that we have to look in. So the implementations, security implementations, will always look at the operations, the technology elements, and the human factors, all these three areas. Operations, there will be certain process changes that we will implement. There will be certain technology measures that we will look at, and also the human factors, the people. That's why we have in this security awareness session as well. So addressing security, we must plan the relevant controls, look at what controls that we require, and implementations will go towards operations, technology, and human factors. Now, anything that can have an effect to confidentiality, integrity, and availability, we call them security incidents. Any event, okay, which can harm confidential, integrity, and availability, we call them security incidents. So what are security incidents? Viruses, theft, any potential hacking, unauthorized manipulation of critical business data, breaches of physical security, leakage of confidential information, misuse of computer systems, phishing attempts, ransomware attacks, data loss, sharing of user accounts or passwords, violating the information security policy that we have put forth. All these are types of security incidents that we must always avoid. Okay. So one of the common information security incident is malicious software. We call them malware. In very simple terms, computer viruses. So malware can include computer viruses, worms, Trojan horse programs, any spyware, or programs which can accidentally harm any system or data. All these are malware. Now, malware are computer programs that can infect other computer programs, and it can damage our hard disk, critical information, take critical systems offline, including our computers, forward our data without our knowledge to external people or websites. So these are malware. So how do we identify whether there is a malware infected in our computer system, right? Into our desktop or to the laptop, into our server. If any unusual items appearing on the screens, maybe graphics or messages or system error messages, corrupted or inaccessible program files, programs which normally starts quickly are taking longer to start or running very slowly than usual or not running at all. Sometimes when we open the browser, internet browser, certain pop-up advertisements comes in, right? Or settings which cannot be changed have suddenly changed. Maybe your wallpaper has changed, the screensaver has changed, the placement of icons has changed, or the web browser contains additional components that you don't remember downloading. All these are suggestions or symptoms that would suggest a malware must have infected to our computer. So what steps that we could follow against malware? Close all our files and programs, note down what symptoms were observed, call the IT immediately, and shut down the system. So immediately, if you can take any action immediately, you can make sure that this virus will not spread into other areas in our network. It's like, this COVID virus or any other influenza virus. You identify your symptoms and you try to avoid meeting people, keep social distancing and everything so that it will spread it will prevent the spreading, or it will prevent it goes to other areas in our society. Similarly, computer viruses also the same. You identify them, you immediately take action on it and remove your computer from the network so that it will prevent the virus spreading to other areas in our network. Remember, any information breach, things like this, any information security incidents can have serious implications. It can have a negative impact to our organization brand. Imagine now if something happens, our computer systems go down, we can't do our production, we can't do our financial statements, reconciliations. It can damage the marketplace reputation. It can have customer relationship damage. Sometimes potential regulatory sanction. Now, this is very much applicable for banks because they are working in a very much well-regulated environment. If something happens, they will penalize, they will have to pay penalties. Waste of valuable resources. If there is an incident, a lot of people have to put their time and effort to make it correct. Loss of future business or revenue. Customers may not like to do business with a company which has a bad reputation in safeguarding their data. Custom-initiated litigation and negative publicity. So all these are implications, effects that can come in if there is a security incident occurs. So remember, information security incidents. I took certain sample of incidents. Any incident, any event which have an impact to confidentiality, integrity, and availability for information must be reported to the IS officer. So our IS officer is Ravidu. It has to be reported to Ravidu. And we must also not make sure that we are not discussing security incidents with anyone outside the organization. Do not attempt to interfere, obstruct, or prevent anyone from reporting incidents. We should not attempt to interfere, obstruct, or prevent anyone from reporting incidents. The more incidents that we can report, then we can make our system very strong. We can make our control strong. So what are your duties as employees? Remember, the information security policy document is there. Acceptable usage policy document is there. All these will be shared by Ravidu in due course. Make sure that you Go through them, end user acceptable usage policy, you go through them. No, you should know what are the things that you can do and what are the things that you should not do. Always remember that you need to abide by the rules and make sure that you comply to these requirements. So when it comes to assets, when it comes to information handling, we deal with several information storage media like hard disk, portable hard drives, USB drives, CD, DVD media to store information, store data. We also store information in physical media as well. Paper documents, notebooks, files, folders, all this. Now, based on the information it contains, we must properly handle them. Now, for example, if there is a document with confidential information, it has to be kept locked, properly stored under a lock and key cupboard. So it should not be lying everywhere on a tabletop where anyone can look at it, where anyone can access it without unattended. All right. If you are using a USB drive with certain confidential information storing it, you must protect it. You must put a password to it. Likewise, based on the information that we put into the storage media, we must appropriately handle them. Now, if you are disposing any physical media with confidential information, it needs to be appropriately shredded, properly shredded like this, using a shredder. If you are using a USB device to store information, confidential information, it must be properly deleted. If you're using CD, a DVD, it must be broken in order to dispose it. Now, remember, usage of USB drives devices are discouraged. Always use email to share information. Always use SharePoint that is there to share information. But in case, if you want to use a USB, you must always put the information and make sure you encrypt or password protect the USB device. What happens is, if you lose the device, if you don't password protect or encrypt it, anyone having access to the USB device may be able to just plug it into another computer and access the information there, right? So remove the data in the USB flash device as soon as the purpose of storage is served. Place the device in a secure location. Make sure that you physically protect the USB device as well. You should not leave the disk or the storage media, any other computer media, unattended. Without any monitoring, without any safeguard, you can't just leave it on the desk or the table. You should not store confidential data in a USB flash device. Like I told you, always share confidential information, confidential data using email or any other method like SharePoint. So always use your file server to store critical files of folders. Right? Now, if you are using your local drive to store information, if it's a laptop, since our laptops are not encrypted, if we lose the laptop, we might have a risk of losing our data as well. So make sure that you always keep the information in a file server like SharePoint and store critical files are there. The other thing is it's much more secure. Rather than keep it in a local device, local drive, keep it in the SharePoint. You can put the permissions properly as you want it, who can access the data and who should not be access the data. All that permissions you can put it if you are storing the information in SharePoint rather than in the local device. Right. So remember now we use password to log into our computer, log into our systems, log into our email. Password is the way that the system identifies us, meaning that this is the real me that is going to access the data. So your password has to be well protected. You are not allowed to share your password with anyone, right? Now, password has to be always complex. Otherwise, someone else can guess the password and logging as us. So password has to be complex, a minimum of 8 characters and not identical to your last 12 passwords. If you use a combination of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, special characters, that will make the password strong. So you should not write down your password and leave it like this where anyone can see it. Remember, if anything happens under your username, you are responsible, not anyone else. So when it comes to password, the best practices always use at least 8-character password with combination of alphabets, numbers, special characters. Use password that cannot be easily guessed by others. Change the password regularly. All these are enforced using a password policy that we already have. You must comply to it. These are already enforced. Use the password that is significantly different from earlier passwords. You should not use password which reveal your personal information or common name, because these can be easily guessed by an attacker or a hacker. You should not write down or store passwords. You should never share your password with anyone, even with IT. You should not communicate your password with over phone or email. You should not use a password which not match the above complexity criteria. So with that, let me take you to a quick video which explains good password practices.
Hello, I am Chanaka. I am a banker. I need to change my password today. Let me think. I can use my son's name or wife's name. What if I change it to password? Maybe 12345? Maybe my birthday. It is easier to remember. Oh, then how should I choose my password?
When selecting a password, make sure to follow the criteria. Make sure the passwords are complex. Don't use words found in password blacklist. Make sure your password is not identical to your last 8 passwords. Remember, password should be complex. Password should contain a minimum of 8 characters. Password must be a combination of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numeric characters, and special characters or symbols. There are few examples given below. When choosing a password, we have to make sure it's complex and hard to guess. Always follow the password guidelines.
All right. So that's on passwords. So let's move on. Now, when it comes to email, always remember your official mail should be used for official purposes only, not for any other purposes, right? So, official mail for business purposes, follow the email storage guidelines. Remember, check the recipients before you send the email. Check whether they have the right to know those information that you put in. Just don't put people into CC and just send a mail. Always verify whether they have the right to know that such information before you send the mail. Check your recipients. If you come across any junk or spam email, do not forward that email to any other user. Forward the email to IT so that they can block it from the email gateway itself, so that that email will not come to the organization again. And now, you should not use your official email ID for any personal subscription purposes. Now, this is where always it will start to get spammy. If you go and put your official email into these marketing websites, certain e-commerce websites, they will start sending unsolicited spam emails, marketing emails to your email address. So from there, they will get more and more email address from the organization. So don't use your official email ID for any personal subscription purposes. And you should not send unsolicited emails for any type like chain letters or email access to other users. You are not allowed to post non-business related information to large number of users using email. And always remember, you should not open emails or attachments which are suspected to be viruses or received from suspicious sender or source. So these are phishing emails. I will take you through the phishing emails in the latter part of the slide deck. But remember, you should not open email or attachment which are suspected to be viruses or received from suspicious sender. All right. So spam control. Now, spamming is a method where they use electronic messaging systems, so emails, to send unsolicited bulk messages indiscriminately. So you might have seen these marketing emails and all those things. Those are spams. Those are the things that we should avoid. So spam will always start if we go and post our business email ID into news groups, chat rooms, or discussion forums. Remember, spam emails might carry viruses as well. They will request personal information and all those things. So you should delete spam emails without even opening them. You should not forward spam emails or participation in chain emails. You should not reply or click links present in spam emails, because that will take you to different fake websites which will have malware in them or maybe ask for certain information. Sometimes we are still working from home and we are using working from home or maybe work from cafe and all that. Sometimes we use different Wi-Fi networks and all those things, which can be harmful. It's not like in the office environment where we use legitimate internet connections or well-protected equipments, our devices. So there are certain things, certain threats that you should be aware while working from home, while working from other places, that you should avoid. Now, one of the key threats that we have seen in the day-to-day work is this malicious URL of fake websites. So fake websites are websites that appear to be legitimate, but it's try to ask certain personal information from you, try to get credit card information or sensitive information from you, or maybe email, passwords, credentials, or maybe download a software or download a malware into your computer without you knowing. So one of the examples of a fake website is this. This was a fake website that was available during the time of COVID. If you see, they have put a nice message here saying we offer you Netflix for free, staying safe and enjoying the internet at home. And try to tempt people, to attract people to this website to get information or give information. There were around 1.6 million users who have given information out to this website, out to this fake website, right? And those are personal information, very personal information. Now, this is another example, again, which was available during the COVID time. It says antivirus-covid19.site. It says Corona antivirus, world's best protection, and ask you to download the Corona antivirus. Now, what happens once you click this button? It downloads an executable file. This is a malware, a virus. Once this is installed into your computer, the attacker can do anything in your computer. Maybe to copy certain messages, try to see what you are typing, try to see what you are browsing. They can also get key strokes. If you type a password, they can get the keystrokes and they know that's a password. Likewise, they can do several things. Yeah. So always be aware of these fake websites. Now, how to identify a fake website? Try to copy this domain name. We call this the domain name. Okay, antivirus-covid19.site. Do a Google search on it. If you don't get any results to this domain name, that may be probably there is a good chance that is a fake website, right? So this is now this is related to the recent CrowdStrike mishap that happened. Now, when the CrowdStrike, you all know that because of antivirus solution or the EDR solution of CrowdStrike because of a problem with the software. A lot of Windows machines went blue screen. They couldn't log into the Windows. So there were several fake websites that came at that time to confuse the users, end users, right? And to obtain certain money or information from them. So one of that is this site, CrowdStrike claim.com. So they ask for certain information to obtain a free claim from CrowdStrike. So without users knowing the legitimacy of website, they give information to this. So this is another example of fake website. Now, similar to fake website, we sometimes get emails asking for sensitive information or asking to click on a link, which will redirect to a fake website, okay? Or maybe to open an attachment, okay? So phishing is similar to fake website. It's a technique that attackers use to obtain information fraudulently from the end users. Now, there are three types of phishing attacks. We have spear phishing, whaling, and cloning. These are the main three types. So what happens in spear phishing? The attackers will target a group of individuals, maybe a particular department like HR department. So they will craft a phishing email that will be applicable to the HR team. So they will get convinced to open that email. And there's something called whaling. Whaling is whaling. The target is high executive level individuals. Because if you get into an executive level individual's computer or maybe the password and everything, you can do a lot of things. The damage is high. Then we have something called cloning. Now, cloning is a technique. Sometimes you might have seen emails coming from Facebook or maybe Microsoft asking you to change the password, saying that your password is expired, change the password. Or maybe to review certain activities that has happened using our account, right? So these, what the attacker will do, they will make a similar email like that. They will try to clone the original mail, like the legitimate mail, and put a mail like that and send it to the user. The user, without knowing, thinking that it comes from Microsoft or Facebook, will give information, click on the link or download the files that is present there in that email. We call it clone. So how to identify a phishing email? A phishing email will always contain links or attachments. It can sometimes have poor grammar or spelling. It will request personal or sensitive information. It will have a high sense of urgency and no privacy. It will say, okay, you need to reply to this email within the day. They might threaten you also. If you don't reply to this mail, your account will get blocked. Or your account, we will charge a penalty. Or maybe reward you. If you reply to the mail, we will give you a discount voucher. We will give you a gift voucher, like that, threat or reward. And it might discuss confidential subject like salary. So be aware of these things. This is how you can identify a phishing email. Now, this is an example of a cloning phishing email. See, this mail looks and sounds like it has come from Office 365 Microsoft. Office mail service, please confirm your account password and gives a button to change the password. But if you look closely, if you just expand and see what is the email address it has come from, it has not come from a Microsoft email. It has come from some suspicious email. And if you just hover your mouse like this and keep your mouse pointer onto this button, you will get the exact URL that you will be going into if you click this button. Now, if you look at this URL, that URL is a very suspicious URL. So these are the things that you should be looking to if you get a suspicious email. Look at this. It says unusual sign-in activity, Windows user link. Give some details and looks very legitimate. Okay. Looks very legitimate. If you look closely, it says Microsoft Team, but the email is no reply msteam2@outlook.com. So outlook.com, even you and me can create an email like this if you go to outlook.com, right? So it has come from a public email domain. So these are the things that you should be look for. another mail, say IT services, sales at IT services, our new enterprise plans have finally arrived. So it has a generic greeting, say hi. Now, if it's a mail that is coming to you, it will always have your name, right? I, Buddhika, I, Ravidu. But it has a generic greeting. And if you see closely, the email signature will not doesn't have any telephone number, any mobile number to connect and see whether this is a genuine email. So it has given this thing, it says about a package. So currently this service is being offered as a free trial. To update your simply click the link below. It has given a link. Now see the urgency. This is a limited time offer. So be sure to act quickly. See how they are bringing the urgency into this mail. So likewise, these are all phishing emails. You have to be very much vigilant. There are so many cases that we have found out where they have done bank transfers, given credit card information, given sensitive information, or sometimes given their username and passwords to phishing emails that are coming like this. So one of the another threat that can come to phishing emails is ransomware. So what happens in a ransomware is that the attacker will put a small program like ransomware into your computer, which will encrypt all the data in your computer and put a password to it or an encryption key. Now, you don't have access to the data. If you want to access to the data, you need the encryption key. But so attacker, what will you do? To give you the encryption key, he will ask for a ransom. You need to give me $300, $500 so that I will give you the key. Now, if you don't pay within this time, your payment will be erased. You don't pay till this time, your complete complete information will get wiped out. So that's how they will threaten you. Ransomware is a serious problem. It's a serious mistake. So we have to always be careful with that. So key takeaways, remember everyone, secure your environment. Try to designate a room as your home office. Lock the door if you need. Maintain a clear desk policy. Remember, even if you're at home, at office, maintain a clear desk policy. We don't know what information that we are keeping on the table. Lock the screen if you are going away from your computer even for a few minutes. Keep the work and home devices separate. Connect if you are connecting to the computer networks, connect via VPN. Be aware of your privacy. Secure your Wi-Fi access points. Now, if you are using your laptop at home, right? You might be connecting to your internet at home. You are sharing your internet with several other people. We might not know. We might be sharing our internet with our neighbors as well. So that's why we need to secure our Wi-Fi access point. So how to secure the Wi-Fi access point? So typically, whoever installs SLT or Dialog, whoever comes and install the Wi-Fi access point, they keep the minimum security level or at the default security level. That's not the best one. So you must configure it to make sure that is well secure. To do that, there are several tutorials, guides that you can find in the YouTube to do. Be aware of phishing attacks. And if you click a suspicious link, immediately inform the IS officer so that they can take immediate action on it. So physical security, remember, there are strict VISTA guidelines that we must follow. Anyone coming into the organization has to be properly escorted. Right? So they have to sign in at the reception. They need to declare and register all the assets at the reception. Okay. VISTA should always be escorted within the organization premises and ensure VISTA cards are returned to the reception when leaving. And your ID card must always be worn while you are at work. Okay, so let me take you to a small video related to physical security as well.
Hey Chanaka, how are you?
Hi, Suresh.
You know, I forgot my access card today. Can you let me in, please?
Sure, why not?
Stop. Do you think Chanaka and Suresh followed the correct procedure?
Entering a secure location without a valid identification card or an access card is a security breach.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, Suresh. I can't let you in without your access card. Always make sure to bring your access card to enter into a secure location. If you forget, lost, or misplaced your access card, inform the security officer.
Some of I actually can't remember.
I think I know her.
Let me
She's Tanuja
go to
from the
my
company.
office
She's a very important person. I think she is working on something. It must be really important.
1, 2, 3 and hash and THAN.
Let me have a closer look.
Capital D. Okay, it's it.
I think I could get her username and password too. And
All
ooh,
that I have
the
to
mail is
send?
confidential, high priority.
Yeah. So I
Wonder
have
what
to
else
send
she's
this
working
mail
on.
to
Let's have a
my
closer look.
When you're working, make sure no one is watching over your shoulders. Protecting company data and privacy is important. And simply by watching over your shoulders, an intruder can obtain so much information. Always make sure no one is watching over you. Always make sure no one is surfing your work without your permission.
All right. So that is shoulder surfing. So be vigilant about that as well. So with that, I'm coming to the end. Remember, information security is everyone's responsibility. It starts with you. So make sure that you comply to all these things. And Ravidu will share the information security policy, the induced acceptable usage policy also with you. Be sure that you go through these and be aware of that. And our audit is also going to happen. Another audit going to happen next Friday. I hope everyone will make sure that we have a secure and safe environment so that we can showcase to the auditors as well who's going to come, that we are aware of how we have to secure the information. All right. Anyone, do you have any questions? Any questions, anyone? So, Ravi, if you don't have any questions, we can wind up.
Okay, Buddhika. Right. Thank you very much for the very informative session on IT security. Actually, that's a very hot topic these days. And you have talked about the 90-10 rule and the password best practices, email best practices, and phishing email and spam emails. And you talk about actually you covered the basic all these important things. And thank you very much for joining our session and as a resource person. And okay, we will see you on another similar kind of informative session in the future. Thank you very much. And we will
Thank you, everyone.
right, we will wind up the session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.